A Russian prima ballerina named Dom is tending to her sickly mother. When the caretaker arrives, she leaves to prepare for her performance that evening. At the theater, her uncle Ivan greets her and introduces his friend Dmitri, a Russian gang leader who seems to have a liking on her. Dom is doing a wonderful performance on stage when her lead partner accidentally jumps on her and breaks her leg, forever ruining her career. Meanwhile, a CIA agent named Nate has decoded a message from his Russian mole. That evening, he meets with the mole he calls Marble, who discreetly hands him an envelope. However, Russian police close in on Marble, so Nate shoots his gun to divert their attention. After a lengthy pursuit, Nate reaches the safety of the U.S. Embassy. Dom's uncle Ivan, a deputy director of Russian intelligence, learns from his superior that the man chased by the police last night was a CIA agent. General Korch joins them, and they try to figure out who the mole is. 3 months later, Ivan visits Dom, offering to help with the rent and her mother's hospital bills by giving her a job for when she is ready. Before leaving, Ivan gives her an envelope. Inside it are intimate photos of her ballet partner and Sonia, the new prima ballerina who replaced her, along with a recording which confirms that Dom's partner intentionally broke her legs. Dom heads to the theater where the two were rehearsing, and later kills them in the bathroom using her cane. When she arrives home, Dom finds her mother lying on the floor. The caretaker didn't come because she was not able to pay her anymore. The next day, Dom has decided to meet her uncle for the job he offered. Ivan says the state wants information on Dmitri, so he asks Dom to get close to him. 1 week later, Dom goes to the hotel where Dmitri will be having a dinner. The man approaches her, and the plan seems to be going well. However, Dmitri starts assaulting her and Dom felt helpless. Moments later, an unknown man intervenes and strangles Dmitri to death. The man turns out to be one of Ivan's agents named Sergey. General Korch tells Ivan to get rid of Dom because she is a witness, but the uncle says she has potential, and he can put her to good use. Dom is mad at her uncle for what happened at the hotel, and Ivan tells her that she has no choice now but to continue working with him, or the state would kill her. He tells Dom that she did well in seducing Dmitri, and mentions a school that could help her master that potential. A couple of days later, Dom goes to the school and meets the headmistress Matron. Matron explains that they will now become Sparrows, operatives of the state who use seduction as their weapon. Meanwhile, Nate is back in the US, but his superiors now suspends him from going back to Russia. Nate objects, saying his mole will not deal with anybody aside from him, but they wouldn't listen. Back in Russia, Dom learns how to shoot, pick different locks, and watches various ways of pleasuring their targets. Dom is taking a bath when a student named Victor comes in and assaults her. She fights back and beats him so hard. Marble has stayed silent for months from the CIA, so Nate pleads with his superiors to send him near Russia to re-establish contact with his mole, and so they send him to Budapest. Ivan and his superiors learn about this, and Ivan proposes to use a Sparrow to get information from him. Matron finds out about what Dom did to her fellow student, so she orders her to give him what he wants. Victor tells Dom to turn around, but Dom refuses. She undresses in front of him and says she will watch him do it. Intimidated, Victor fails to get his weapon up, making him embarrassed and leaves. General Korch watched everything through the monitor, and he is impressed by what she did. She is brought back to Moscow and her uncle gives Dom her first mission as a Sparrow, to get close to Nate and find out his mole. Dom is mad for tricking her into the school, and Ivan promises that he will let her go after that mission. Dom arrives in Budapest using different name, and goes to the apartment she will be sharing with another Sparrow named Marta. She starts following Nate through his routine, and when she goes to the swimming pool where he usually swims, Nate starts noticing her. He later invites her for lunch, but Dom rejects him and leaves. The next day, Nate didn't go to the pool, and Dom learns that her ID is missing. It was Nate who took it, and he already knows that she is an agent from Russia. His superiors tell him to stay away from the girl, but Nate believes she can become an asset. The two gets to meet again, and Dom confesses her real identity to Nate. Nevertheless, they have a good conversation, and started to like each other. Dom goes to Marta's room and learns that she has created a mole, the chief of staff of a U.S. senator. She later meets their station chief at a bar. He starts making advances, but Dom insults him, so he punches her. One day, Ivan visits Dom at their apartment. He's on his way to Vienna and just came by to follow up on the mission. Dom claims progress with Nate, but Ivan warns that their superiors are getting impatient. She lies, saying that she's helping Marta with her mole, who they'll meet next week in London. When Ivan left, Marta asks why she lied about helping her, and Dom says to buy time because they will kill her if she fails the mission. Marta asks why would they do that, and Dom says she witnessed the murder of Dmitri. The next evening, Dom finds Marta brutally murdered in the bathroom. Sergey appears and warns her of the consequences of telling secrets. Dom goes to Nate and tells him everything, from her mother's condition, the Sparrow, and to the mission she was sent to. Nate sympathizes with her, and he offers Dom to work with him. After carefully thinking it over, she finally accepts. The CIA puts her in a lie detector test, and she passes it. Dom asks for $250,000 to be sent to an account in Vienna, and they ask what she can offer to them in return. She reveals that a U.S. chief of staff is now a Russian mole, and she will meet her in London. Days later, Dom goes to meet with the chief of staff Stephanie, and informs her that Marta couldn't make it. Stephanie tries to leave, but Dom threatens to expose her intimate photos with Marta. Dom escorts her to a private room where her station chief awaits. After paying her, Stephanie gives the discs which contains vital U.S. information, and Dom discreetly swaps them with fake ones. The plan went smoothly, until Stephanie realizes that she has been exposed. She panics, and gets hit by a truck. A Russian agent saw this, raising suspicion that Dom may have tipped the CIA. They bring Dom back to Russia and asks her if she snitched on Stephanie. They torture her multiple times to make her confess, but she consistently denies it. The interrogator points a gun at her head and asks one last time. Dom still denies it, so the officer pulls the trigger, and it is blank. Ivan comes in and asks to tell him the truth, but Dom says that everything she did was to make Nate trust her. That's why she gave him her real name and exposed the chief of staff. She pleads to be sent back and finish her mission. Ivan tells his superiors to give Dom one more chance, and if she is proven to have betrayed them, he promises to dispose her himself. Dom returns to Budapest and is reunited with Nate. He asks what is her plan, and Dom says she wants to go to America with her mom where they will be safe. Nate says he will help them, and they later make love. Dom wakes up in the middle of the night and finds her lover being strangled by Sergei. She is calm and helps in tying up Nate. Sergei starts torturing him, trying to get the name of his mole, and Dom helps with the interrogation. While Sergei is distracted, Dom hits him, and after few struggles, she managed to kill the agent. Being badly injured, Dom passes out, and later wakes up in a hospital. General Korsh shows up, and before she can explain, the general reveals that he is the mole. He used to be patriotic, but after learning how corrupt their government has become, he chose the other side, and he now leaves his fate in Dom's hand. Dom calls their superior and tells him the name of the traitor. The next evening, the Russians and the CIA gathers at the airport to exchange their moles. Nate felt betrayed, and he tells her that the Russians will not let his mole live. Dom says he'll eventually understand what she did. Nate asks the Russians to show the face of his mole so he can confirm, but then it is Ivan. Nate is shocked because he is not his mole. Realizing what Dom has done, Nate lies and confirms that Ivan is his mole. It turns out that Dom has arranged to frame her uncle from the start. She planted evidence like a glass with Nate's fingerprint at Ivan's apartment. She also secretly opened a bank account in Vienna with Ivan's name, and it's the account to which she had the CIA send money. And since Ivan recently made a trip to Vienna, his superior could easily believe he is the mole. Ivan cries as he is being handed over to the CIA. Moments later, he got shot, and now everyone wins. Dom got her revenge on her uncle who tricked her to become a Sparrow. CIA's real mole is still alive, and Russia has gotten rid of what they thought was a traitor. And now Dom is back in Moscow as a hero, applauded by everyone, especially by the general, who made the right choice in choosing her. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.